So San Francisco 49ers, I just have to give a big what's up to Fred Warner. I got I remember when you signed this for my boys back when you were playing at BYU. Now you're all pro. You're a pro bowler. You're like the best linebacker in the league. Also, you got my boy Talanoa Hufanga. What's up, Talanoa? Playing at a high caliber as a safety this year. Coming just his second year in the league, and he's doing awesome. He's tearing it up. Also, we got a lot of people on the Niners that are just freaking going crazy, and I just needed to get in here and give my thoughts on what's happening now with the 49ers. They're getting ready for the Raiders. Back in the days, I grew up in Sacramento, California, and man, it was either the Niners or the Raiders. Niners or the Raiders. Uh, my brother, he was a Raiders fan. I'm a Niners fan since we got here to the country, and it's always been like that. It's either the 49ers or the Raiders. Everybody's always talking trash to one another. Um, always one of the two. And so they're gonna play now, but it's not in Oakland or LA. Like when I grew up, it was they were in LA. Then they moved up to Oak back. They moved back up to Oakland, and from there, just the rivalry and everything about it. Just you know, it is what it is. They're always going at each other. Um, but now the Raiders are in Las Vegas. I live only uh, a short drive from Vegas. Well, it's almost like going from Sacramento to San Francisco, and now I live in St. George, Utah, and it's just a short drive down there. It's about 2 hours to get down to Vegas. Um, but now they're over there in Vegas, and the Raiders aren't doing too good right now. They're not. They're not doing really good. And later this week, I will go live with a couple other guys that are Raiders fans, and we'll see how that goes with them. I mean, right now they should have done a lot better this year, but they didn't. Something happened, and I didn't. I haven't watched the Raiders too much to keep up with them, but I knew that they gotten the Adams guy that used to play in Green Bay. So they got him, and I thought he was just gonna come in and Derek Carr was gonna go off, and it'll be like them playing again at Fresno. But that didn't happen. I don't know if somebody got hurt there, or even the defense, or where they were at. If some people got hurt, or just basically, things didn't work out. I think it's the coach. That's what I think. I think the coach just went in there and it just all fell apart because I don't think he's a really good coach. But that's my thoughts. I don't think he's a good coach. Um, but back to the 49ers. I don't want to, dive too much into the Raiders because that's not the team that I keep up with. I keep up with the 49ers. And the 49ers, to me, are the best team right now heading into the playoffs. And if they beat the Raiders this Sunday and then they beat the Arizona Cardinals the following week, and we can possibly see them sneak into that second seed or even to the first seed if both of those teams loses. They just need the Vikings to lose one game and that'll be it, or the Philadelphia Eagles to lose their last two remaining games. And just so you guys know that the 49ers are on their third quarterback. Their third quarterback. They should be looking towards next year, looking at the prospects coming out of college. but that's not the case. Since that Miami game when Garoppolo went down, and Brock Purdy stepped in, he actually got in there and showcased his talents and ability. And everybody that passed him in the draft, they passed him because of the prototypical player. He's not like height, size. I mean, he showcased everything that he's got, and I think he can get better. I mean, I I watched a podcast earlier of Tank Sports, so I'm giving you a shout out to Tank Sport. He went through this 9 months ago before Brock Purdy was even drafted, and he says this guy, he's making all the throws, he's making NFL throws, and he's being overlooked. And they had him slated to come out in the 6th round, but he didn't come out in the 6th round. He came out in the 7th round, the last pick in the NFL draft. I mean, you talk about somebody that will come into the league. And I watched his highlights at Iowa State. He was doing some really good stuff over there. I mean, he can move the chains. He can really move the chains. So he came into the league, waited his turn, but Fred Warner, he actually said this. Brock Purdy was prepared because why? Why was Brock Purdy prepared? Because he was playing against the number one defense for 13 weeks. And of course, if you're playing the number one defense for 13 weeks, nothing out there is no other defense is gonna come out there and get this guy rattled. There's no other defense gonna do that. All right, they're not gonna do that. So he was prepared for this, and then his first start to come out against Tom Brady, and he just had a phenomenal game. He just did. He just did everything right in that game. I mean, and you can see the confidence that he had. He didn't even look back. He didn't even think twice, but he went out and he did it. Second thing is he went to that Seattle game on Thursday night, and he did really good. Even with he was hurt, but he still did good. And then this past Christmas Eve game against a tough Washington Commanders team, man, he looked good. He didn't look like a 7th-round pick, last pick in the NFL draft. He didn't look like that. No, he didn't. He looked like a kid that knows how to play, and he came out and he absolutely proved everybody wrong. Okay, so that's on Brock Purdy. I'm gonna go back to Talanoa. You know, I'm wearing this because Talanoa Hufanga, Tongan, Malolole Masi. Yeah, he made the Pro Bowl this year. First year starting, second year out of USC. And I got to tell you, his instincts and playing is just crazy. He just showcases it almost every single week. He comes in and showcases. But there is some things that needs to get cleaned up. And I don't know if it's a communication issue between him and some of the other players. But the Washington Commanders actually, man, they went after the DBs on the 49ers. On that stout defense, they went after them with some of the deep throws. And it's Talanoa and Gibson, Tosh Gibson, I think that's his name. They just need to be able to communicate better with their other guys. It's not like a huge thing that they need to do. It's a small little communication that they need to do, little tweaks that they need to have in there on their communication with each other to the rest of the guys. And I think they'll clean it up. And absolutely they will be a terrifying team to play against in the playoffs. I don't care who's out there. They if they clean that part of the game up, that number one defense will become the best defense in the entire league history. Why do I say that? Because Nick Bosa and everybody in that front seven, they're killing it. They're going after the quarterbacks like crazy. And there's hardly anybody that can stand back there. They don't have that much time to go after this 49ers defense. But when they do have that time, you can see that they will go, that quarterbacks will throw deep and they'll go after that. That's just something that they need to clean up just a little bit. But boy, I gotta give big props up to Talanoa for just coming out this year and just showcasing his level of skills and everything that he's learned from Troy, and he's putting it out there on display weekly. And then just touch back on Fred Warner. Man, when I saw him play at BYU, I was like, man, this he's gonna go somewhere. And I was so happy that the 49ers drafted him. I was happy that year that they drafted him. And so just because I knew he can be a covering linebacker coming in, and I knew that he was going to do really great for the 49ers, and it showed right away. He had an impact. So, Fred, much props to you, man. The other guy I want to talk about is on the defensive side also, Nick Bosa. Man, this guy get held all the time. They're holding him. They're doing everything they can possibly do to try to keep him from getting to the quarterback. And the guy's a beast. He's just a beast. His brother plays for the Chargers, and his brother's good too. But man, Nick is on a whole nother level this year. He just is. And I think if he never gotten hurt a couple of years ago, I think this guy would have been last year, which they dissed on him last year. He should have been the comeback player of the year. I don't know what the heck these people are thinking about and not giving that to him, that award. And also, the guy's just a monster. And I mean, he lines up on each side. It doesn't matter. He's going to get there. But I think it helps to have Eric Armstead. That guy, hey, South Sacramento. That's a South Sacramento boy. He's doing really good, tearing it up. When he's in the game, he makes a big impact because it makes it easier for Nick Bosa to get in through there, the linebackers to get through, and then now they got Kinlaw. He's back, and I think it's gonna be really harder for teams to not only run the ball, which they're having a hard time against this defense, but boy, those quarterbacks is not gonna have a whole lot of time to stand in the pocket and make the throws. They're not going to have that time. They won't. There's just no way that they can do that. And we have a deep. The 49ers are so deep. They go on different levels. And if one guy gets hurt, the next guy steps up. It reminds me, and I don't want to really say this, and it reminds me of when Pete Carroll used to say this about a player going down for the Seahawks. Next man up. Richard Sherman said that when he came over, and boy, I couldn't stand Sherman when he was with the Seahawks. He was talking so much trash, and I remember, man, that's how we grew up. Everybody talks trash. Everybody talks trash. If you don't talk trash, nobody's gonna respect you on the football field, the basketball field, or even on the rugby field. I mean, we didn't talk too much trash on the rugby field because it was like everybody was just hitting. Yeah, that's how it was on the rugby field. But football, everybody was getting down, talking trash to one another. I mean, it's all good and everything during the game, but after the game, yeah, we didn't take it to some of the levels that some people go through right now. But, you know, the 49ers have a really good coaching staff and they're doing their job. They're getting these people, they're getting these players and bringing out the best in all of them. Um, let's see. So Brock Purdy, going back to the offensive side, he's able to do a lot of things that Jimmy Garoppolo just can't do. He can't do it. And man, for the last few years, I mean, when he came over in 2017, he did really good, but he just can't do it. I mean, that throw to George Kittle down the middle, Jimmy Garoppolo would never do that. He would never do that. And I don't know if it's because of that injury that he had and he's scared of that overthrow that he did in the Super Bowl that he wished that he would have gotten back. But boy, the guy, he sees it, and like my son who watches football with me, he's always saying these things. Why is he throwing it? He's looked at him. Why didn't he throw it to him? And that's how Jimmy is. Jimmy won't throw. He just won't throw to them. Even if he knows that they're wide open, you can go back and look at all the films and he doesn't throw it to them. But now we have a guy, Brock Purdy, and this kid, after watching the tape on him, the film from college, and I am freaking happy that the 49ers got him. I mean, big ups to whoever told the coaches and said, hey, this guy is the guy. I think Larry Kruger, he said, he interviewed him and then he came out and he said, this kid is really good after watching him in OTAs and doing the preseason, that he was going to be really good. So the 49ers just got really lucky. I am a big 49ers fan. I've been a San Francisco 49ers fan since 1979. You can't tell how old I am because I am really young. 1979, young. Just kidding. Here's the lowdown for this coming weekend. The San Francisco 49ers going to put a hurting on those Raiders. And you best believe they are going to go after that second seed. And if that number one seed is available, they're going to go after that too. Why? Because last year they had to travel a lot and a lot of their guys were getting hurt. I mean, they were getting beat up. Not necessarily knocked out of the games and stuff, but I mean, it takes a toll on you. So if the San Francisco 49ers can get things cooking for the next 2 weeks and get into the playoffs and either have the second or the first seed in the playoffs, you better believe they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. And if they make it to the Super Bowl and if they tighten everything up, I don't care if the Chiefs roll in, they're going to beat the Chiefs. The only team that put up so much points on them. I mean, man, the Chiefs is just the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and all of them. But I almost would guarantee that the 49ers will go into the Super Bowl and beat the Kansas City Chiefs if they shore up their defense with communication. That's all they need to do is those tweaks, and they're getting players healthy and they're coming back, and they are going to be a threat to play against. So the playoffs in the Super Bowl doesn't matter. They're going to do it. They're going to win it this year. If they get to the Super Bowl, they're going to win it. And I'm going to say it right now. They will. So back to the Raiders and 49ers this weekend. I'm going to go back live again on Friday for predictions. And I might do another one on Wednesday out in Salt Lake City area. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Until then, let's go Sports 9. Boom, boom, boom. Got to give up that T. You know what I'm saying?